Welcome to lesson 17, problem number 2, where we are completing this table to learn really a lot about polynomials. So let me just start by saying, in order for a polynomial to be in standard form, it has to be in what's called descending order. So the 4x squared would come first because that's a second degree term. Then the 2x would be next because that's first degree, and then the minus 1. So the way I'm going to approach this problem is to keep going straight down, making sure everything's in standard form, then to kind of work down each column. So the next one, negative m to the third, has to come first, then plus 7m. Next one, it should be 7x minus 8. Again, I'm always putting the leading coefficient at the beginning and the highest degree term at the beginning. So this one's 4x to the third because it's the only term. And then the last one is going to be negative 8y to the fourth plus 2y plus 1. Okay, so now let's talk about that leading coefficient. The leading coefficient in that first one is the number in front of the x squared, which is 4. In the second one, it might be a little tricky, but it's actually negative 1. Even though it's not written, there's a negative 1 in front of the m to the third. So we can say negative 1. This next one is a 7, the next one is a 4, and the last one is a negative 8. And those are all of our leading coefficients. Okay, the constant term is the term that doesn't have a variable. So in the first one, the constant term is negative 1. In the next one, every term has a variable, so the constant term is just 0. In the next one, the constant term is negative 8. And the next one, it's again 0. And then in the last one, it's 1. So the constant term is just the number without a variable. And if there is no number, then the constant term is 0. Okay, so now let's talk about the number of terms. So in the first one, there are 3 terms. And so that's the number of terms. And the name, when there's 3 terms, when you identify it by the number of terms, it's called a trinomial. So that first one is 3 terms, it's a trinomial. The second one, there are 2 terms. And by the way, if you're not sure how I'm getting the number of terms, it's simply how many different algebraic expressions there are that are divided up by a minus or a plus sign. Every time you see that minus or a plus, it makes a new term. So this one has 2 terms, and that's called a binomial. Think of tricycle and bicycle. So bicycle having 2 wheels, a tricycle having 3. So trinomial is 3 terms, binomial is 2. The next one is once again 2 terms and a binomial again. The next one is only 1 term. One is mono, so it's actually called a monomial. Okay, and then the last one is again 3 terms, and we're back to a trinomial. And if there were more than 3 terms, you could call it just a polynomial or a 5-term polynomial if there were 5 terms if you want. Okay, let's go to the degree. The degree is the degree of the highest degree term. So let's go back and let's go to red again. And the degree for that first one is second degree. And second degree is called a quadratic. All right, I'm going to go a little over our box here. But if you wanted to use both the 2 names that are classifying by both degree and the number of terms, you could call it a quadratic trinomial. Okay, the next one, the highest degree term, is a third degree term, and that is called a cubic, C-U-B-I-C. And so you could, if you wanted to, call this a cubic binomial. Okay, the next one, it is first degree. There's x to the first is the highest degree term, and that is linear, and it's linear because it would graph as a line. So it's a linear binomial. The next one is, once again, we're back to 3 is the highest degree, so it's cubic again. So it's a cubic monomial. And then the last one is 4th degree, which is quartic. So that last one could be considered a quartic trinomial. All right, there was a lot in that, but please, just look at the video again if you have any questions. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, bye.